Hi guys, welcome to Let's Get to the Marks. We're looking at the human reproductive systems, sexual reproduction and embryo development for IGCSE Biology. So first off, let's see if you can label the male reproductive system. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, the head of the penis is at the start. Then we have foreskin, followed by the scrotum, the testes. Here we have the sperm duct, the urethra, the glands, and finally the erectile tissue. But what is it that each part does? Do you know the functions? Pause the video. The head of the penis enters the vagina during reproduction. The foreskin is for protection, but can be removed if wanted. The scrotum is a sac of skin that protects the testes. The testes produce the male sex hormone called testosterone and produces the male gametes called sperm. The sperm duct is a pipe or tube that carries the sperm from the testes to the urethra. The urethra is a tube that carries sperm out of the penis into the vagina. It also carries urine out of the penis. During excretion, the urine is slightly acidic and will kill bacteria, also cleaning the urethra. The glands. These produce a liquid called semen that the sperm can use to swim. And finally, we have the erectile tissue on both sides of the urethra. It's made of a spongy tissue with the gaps filled with blood causing an erection. This makes the penis stiff or hard or erect, which makes it easier for sexual reproduction. Now let's look at the female reproductive system. Pause the video. Okay, let's go through. First off, we have the ovaries. Singular ovary. What does the ovary do? Produces the female sex hormone estrogen and produces eggs, otherwise known as ovums. Then we have the vagina, the opening to the reproductive system where the penis goes during sexual intercourse. And at the front of this, we have the vulva, and at the back of this, we have the cervix, a ring of muscle that makes pregnancy possible. Above this, we have the uterus, which is where the fetus develops. And then we have the fallopian tubes on either side where the sperm and egg meet during fertilization. And finally, the inner lining of the uterus is known as the endometrium. This is what is shed during the menstrual cycle. And you can learn more about that in my video on the menstrual cycle here. Okay, during sexual intercourse, the penis enters the vagina. During ejaculation, a mixture of semen and sperm leave the penis. In 1 teaspoon of sperm, there are 100 million sperm, roughly, which is a lot. We can see here the sperm make their way from the testes up the sperm duct. They then move through the urethra and out the head of the penis and into the vagina, swimming through the vagina, through the cervix, and into the uterus. The journey to the fallopian tubes may take from 45 minutes up to 12 hours. It's a perilous journey and millions of sperm die on the way. You can see here, half of them have died. In fact, if the female is ovulating, then an egg will have been released from the ovary and this will be making its way to the uterus. Only a small number of sperm make it to the fallopian tube and only one can fertilize the egg, otherwise called the ovum. The sperm releases enzymes stored in its head in a structure called the acrosome. The enzymes digest the wall of the egg. Once a sperm enters the egg, the wall hardens and no more sperm can enter. Let's look a bit closer. We can see here we have the egg cell or the ovum, also known as the female sex cell or female gamete. The sperm is also known as the male sex cell or the male gamete. So lots of terminology in biology that you need to know. Notice that in the nuclei of these sex cells, they have 23 chromosomes each. Here we have the egg cell with 23 chromosomes, and we have a sperm cell which has done a sort of flying headbutt onto the egg and released its nucleus with 23 chromosomes. The nucleus of the ovum is haploid, meaning it has half the chromosomes of the normal adult body cell, 23 chromosomes. The sperm also has a haploid nucleus with 23 chromosomes. In fact, the sex cells are the only cells in the human body that are haploid and have half the number of chromosomes. When the nuclei fuse together, it's in a process called fertilization. Here we have the fertilized egg cell that resulted from the fusion of the sperm and the egg. The fertilized egg cell is a diploid cell. It has the full set of adult chromosomes, which is 46 in humans. This fertilized egg cell is called a zygote. This cell will now divide into two daughter cells by mitosis. Each of these two daughter cells will further divide by mitosis, forming 4 cells, and so on, until a small ball of cells is formed that we call an embryo. All of these cells are diploid cells with the full set of chromosomes in their nuclei. In fact, the only cells in the human body that are not diploid are the sex cells. These are found in the testes of men as sperm, which have 23 chromosomes, and are found as egg cells in a female in her ovaries with 23 chromosomes. Fertilization of gametes is random. We cannot tell which sperm will meet which egg. This, combined with inheriting 23 chromosomes from both parents, mother and father, ensure genetic variation in the offspring and a greater chance of adapting to changing environmental conditions. Reproduction where gametes fuse in fertilization is known as sexual reproduction. There is another type of reproduction called asexual reproduction, which you can see here if you click the link to this video. Now let's continue with the development of the embryo. Once a zygote is formed and it becomes an embryo by mitosis, it then moves into the uterus and implants into the wall or the endometrium of the uterus. The average pregnancy lasts 40 weeks or 9 months. A developing baby is called a fetus, and over the course of 9 months, the fetus will develop and grow. As we can see here by these images. Once the fetus reaches 9 months, it will rotate with its head facing downwards into the best possible position for childbirth. If the baby is not in the correct position, a special procedure called an ECV can be done by a specialist doctor, which will move the baby into position. You need to know the following structures which enable embryonic and fetal development during pregnancy. So let's go through those now. The placenta allows exchange of substances between the baby and mother, including food, oxygen, and waste. The fetus is the name given for a developing baby. The vagina is the opening to the reproductive system. The uterus wall is muscular, which means it can contract to push the baby out. The tube connecting the mother and baby is called the umbilical cord. The amnion is a sac of fluid called amniotic fluid. It protects the baby against bumps and knocks. You will have heard that when a woman is about to give birth, sometimes it's described that her waters break. This is not water, this is the amniotic fluid. Right, pause the video, have a go at this exam question, then I'll go through the answers. Okay, let's go. There are several different stages during the process of human reproduction. Some of these stages are shown in the box. Complete the table by writing the name of the stages in the box in the correct order. So first up, we've got the gametes, the sperm and the egg. Next, we have the zygote, which is the cell that is formed when a sperm and egg join together. After that, we have the embryo, which is the ball of cells, followed by the fetus, and finally, once delivered, we have the baby, shown here by my awesome drawing. Okay, time to move on to the next exam question. The diagram shows the structure of the female reproductive organs, so pause the video, name the structures labeled in the diagram. Okay, let's go through the answers. So at P, we have the fallopian tube, At Q, we have the ovary that produces the eggs. R is the uterus or the uterus wall or the uterus muscle. And S is the vagina. Right, pause the video, have a go. Diagram shows the male reproductive organs, name structures A, B, and C. A is the urethra, B is the sperm duct where the sperm swim, up from C, which is the testes. A couple want to control their fertility. The man has an operation to cut tube B, snip, actually sometimes called the snip in slang. Explain how this operation would prevent his partner from becoming pregnant. Well, the sperm wouldn't be able to swim up the sperm duct, 1 mark. The sperm wouldn't be able to swim to the urethra, 1 mark. The sperm wouldn't be able to enter the vagina, 1 mark. They wouldn't be able to enter the fallopian tube. No fertilization could take place. So any of those 2 points will score you the marks. Now for the final question, remember, pause the video, have a go. Okay, I'm going to go through the answers. So you've got to complete the passage by filling in the words. Fully grown adults can produce sex cells, or another name for sex cells, gametes, called sperm and eggs. The something cells are much smaller than the something cells, or the sperm cells are much smaller than the egg cells, and have powerful to enable them to swim. Sperm have tails or flagella. The cell division used to make sex cells is called meiosis. You can check that out in a video here. And in males, this takes place in the testes. It's actually in the ovaries in females. The sperm cells pass out of the male along a tube called the urethra and into the female's body, then through the cervix, through the uterus actually, and into the fallopian tubes finally where fertilization takes place. Thanks for watching, guys. All of my presentations have exam questions, so let's get to the marks. Good luck. I'll see you again.